What happens next is it gets bad. So I got this book from Target, and I really, really wish that I could sue them for trauma. Okay, so this is The Birthday Girl. The Birthday Girl. Now, at first glance, you're thinking, okay, trashy book, right? Trashy book. You zoom in. Whoa. The Birthday Girl gracing the cover in her birthday suit. You're scared, aren't you? I'm scared. I'm terrified. Okay, so basically what I do with all my book reviews, I outline the most important things that happen, okay? And then we get into everything wrong with the book. Okay, so let me just explain to you first what it's about. The first thing that happens in this book is we got our main character, Jordan. Now, she's 19, and you need to remember that because her love interest, guess what he is? Drumroll, please. 38. I know, not that bad. You were thinking it was going to be worse. It does get worse. It does get worse. Okay, so basically, the first thing that happens is we have our girl, Jordan. 19, white, blonde, straight. Okay, every man's dream. Okay, the perfect main character. White, blonde, straight. Oh my God, I thought someone was coming in the garage. She is YN reincarnate. Okay, so she's YN. So just picture basic white girl. But here's what I do with my books. Now, typically, this is when they're really good. This book was terrible, but what I do is I give each character a headcanon. So this is our girl, Jordan. So now you have visual confirmation of what she looks like. Now, remember this, because she does work in a bar. So this is all going to be relevant. So this is our girl, Jordan Hadley. This is the main love interest, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Now, the reason why I made the main love interest Jeffrey Dean Morgan is because that's the only way I could really take this novel seriously. A novel is giving it a little too much. It doesn't really deserve the title of a novel. But yeah, and then, anyway, so we'll introduce the rest of the characters later. So basically what happens is our girl Jordan goes to the movies, okay? It's like 10 o'clock at night. She's going to the movies. She's going to see an 80s horror movie. Now, you need to remember this. Her entire personality is that she's obsessed with the 80s, which is fine, but it gets a little weird, okay? So basically, she's at the movies, she spills her popcorn, she spills her wine. Now, you need to remember this, it's her birthday. I know, you were waiting for it. She's the birthday girl, right? So she's turning 19, the very opening of the novel, right? So guess what happens? She sees her crazy ex-boyfriend in the movie theater with another girl. So she's like, oh my gosh, I need to move seats, right? So she moves towards the back of the theater. Guess who she just happens to be near? Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? The dad, right? Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? So then she ends up somehow sitting next to him to avoid running into her crazy ex-boyfriend, who will actually come back towards the end of the novel for a little bit of an Avengers Doomsday. That's how a lot of these novels are. When the author doesn't really know how to end it properly or never really knew what they were doing to begin with, they sort of Avengers Doomsday the whole thing and bring back all of the characters in the end to cause conflict, as you can see. So what happens is our girl Jordan, let me just pull up her face for reference. Okay, our girl Jordy, she meets Jeffrey Dean Morgan, okay? She meets him in the movie theater, right? It's her birthday. Her boss at the bar that she works, remember, she's broke, of course. So here's one thing. She has no family. They're not dead. They're just all evil. So she has no family. She has no friends except for her sister and her boss. So her boss gives her wine and donuts. I know what you're thinking. Why is that relevant? I don't care. But here's the thing. Pike goes, and by the way, the main character's name, the man, love interest, his name is Pike. Yes, I said that correctly. P-I-K-E, Pike, short for Pikel. How did we come up with this name? This sort of, what the author is doing is she's thinking of sort of a classic name like Michael, Mike, and she's sort of rendezvousing it into a special main character name like Pike, Pikel. So as you can see, this woman's a genius, right? Right. She's a genius. So Pike goes, hey Jordan, you gonna eat all of those donuts? She goes, would it be disgusting if I did eat these donuts, you freaking fat lard? She doesn't actually say that, of course. But she does clap back. And he goes, no, I just wanted one. So they share the donuts. They share the wine that she spilled on the ground. She spills. Anyway, she's a little bit of a klutz, right? They have this moment in the theater. That's the point, right? he doesn't know yet that this girl is his son's girlfriend. Okay? Now, his son is also 19. So if he's 38 minus 19, he had his kid at around 18, 19, right? Now, he's a little bit already fallen for this girl. Yeah, he's fallen for Jordan, okay? And he's like, you're cute. And she's like, right? And mind you, she has a whole boyfriend this whole time. But she's kind of being a little bit messy. She's like, well, older man, Lana Del Rey. She's feeling Lana Del Rey right now. She's in her Brooklyn baby era, okay? So she's feeling a little bit Melanie Martinez. And as you can see, we have a helpful little playlist here for us.
On this, in the beginning of the book, we've got Bon Jovi, not trying to connect that to Millie Bobby Brown, aka Eleven, who died. By the way, I know Eleven's dead, and they're just lying to you. Okay, so we got Bon Jovi on the playlist. We got Bruce Springsteen. I know, connection to the Bear, Jeremy Allen White. Then we have Bruce Springsteen again, Rick Springfield, and then Melanie Martinez. She's trying to plant seeds in your brain. This is going to get freaky, okay?
So basically what happens is they have a little bit of a moment in the movie theater watching the movie, whatever. You don't really care, right? They leave the movie theater. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. Guess what freaking happens? Mr. Pike gets a call from his son, whose name is Cole. I know, basic white boy, but the name Cole is better than Pike. Okay, I gotta admit he did better with the name. Okay, so he gets a call from his son. His son goes, Dad, I want to go to fashion school now. Okay, I ran out of iPhone storage, but it's fine because we're gonna finish this. Okay.
Wait, what? Oh my gosh, I messed everything up. Okay, what happens is Jordan gets a call from her boyfriend Cole, and he's like, baby, I'm in jail right now. I know, 5th time, my bad, right? You're gonna have to bail me out. Then, man turns around, because remember, they just said goodbye to each other, right? Pike turns around, he goes, Cole? Your boyfriend's name is Cole Lawson? She goes, yeah. He's like, that's my son! She goes, oh. She goes, oops. Because she was just crushing on her boyfriend's dad. So now we know. Now you would think that what happens next is he's like, oh, I cannot believe I almost had a crush on my boyfriend's, my boyfriend? What? You would think that this grown man, remember Jeffrey Dean Morgan, would be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I was just flirting with my son's girlfriend. No. He ends up doubling down later. So let me get to the next part. So that's the beginning. That's the inciting incident of the novel, right?
So, right, the movie theater, movie-geddon. Okay, so after the movie soiree, what happens is Jordan moves in to her boyfriend's dad's house. I know what you're thinking. Where's this coming from? Well, here's the thing. Remember how I said her boyfriend sucks? Well, he doesn't have a steady job. He's really lazy. He kind of like smokes weed every day. He really took Snoop Dogg's lyrics to heart. Okay, so he is not, giving money to their rent. So they basically can't pay rent. He's like, it's okay. We can just move into my dad's house. Now, clarification. Cole, which is the boy, the 19-year-old boy, he does not have really a good relationship with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, okay? Like, they kind of are on rocky ground because all of this other stuff happened. Now, his mom is Jennifer Morrison. I did headcanon Jennifer Morrison, that is his mom. Now, his mom, apparently we hate the mom because, Pike hates his ex-girlfriend, etc., his baby mama, but we don't have time for all the baby mama drama, okay? So what happens is, the beginning of the novel, Jordan moves into her boyfriend's dad's house. Now, immediately, she's cooking him burgers because he's like, if you guys are going to live here, you got to do some chores, you got to mow the grass, remember, he is a blue-collar man. Not really blue collar because he owns a construction company, so that would kind of make him white collar. So he has money, right? He's also a man-child. Cue Sabrina Carpenter. But we're going to get into that. So they all move in, the son, Cole, he's kind of he's just being himself still, a stoner loser type, right? But what happens next is it gets bad. So basically there's all this growing tension between Jordan, the 19-year-old, and the 38-year-old man. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Sorry, Jeffrey. Didn't mean to do this to you, right? There's all this tension between them. He keeps talking about how he likes her ass and all, not out loud, in his head, because it kind of switches between Jordan's point of view, Pike's point of view. Boom, 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 back and forth, right? And it's really disturbing, I would say. Does she feel the same way? Yeah. She's kind of more in denial about it. When you get his point of view, like, Pike really is acknowledging the fact that he's sort of falling for this girl. And apparently the only issue is that she is his son's girlfriend, not that she is almost a child. Because remember, if she was 18, he would have been going, wee, 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 if she was 17. Apparently 19 is nothing to him. Okay, he's a veteran at this. Okay, so next what happens after she makes burgers, all of this stuff, yada, yada, badada. Right, so let me give you a quick character breakdown of our 3 main characters.
Jordan, remember I already said she's 19, white, straight, blonde, YN, right? So she grew up in the trailer park. Her dad was kind of like, you know, probably an alcoholic, kind of like he kind of sucked, right? Her mom dipped, to my knowledge. She has a stepmom, but she also sucks. She has a sister. Now, the sister was headcanon as supermodel. Can't remember the girl's name. But this girl, y'all know this supermodel, right? From Victoria's Secret. This is Jordan's sister, Cam, okay? Now, you need to remember this. She is a stripper, okay? This is important to the story. So, Cam is her sister, and her only like, circle that are supporting her is her stripper sister, who gives her terrible advice, and her boss at the bar she works at. Now, Pike is going to be coming in and out of this bar that Jordan works at multiple times throughout the novel. This man is frequenting the bar, okay? Usually to yell at her, to chastise her, to call her out on her slutty outfits, all of these things, okay? This man frequents the bar, okay? So that's Jordan, okay? So she's basically like, but then they describe her as like, oh, she's like, you know, independent woman, like it's giving like Fifth Harmony, like, you know, she knows it, like boss lady, I don't even know. Like she's in, college, junior college, whatever. She wants to be a landscaper. I don't know why. I mean, I would have personally preferred one of the OG rom-com jobs like journalist, writer, sculptor, model. I would have gone with any of those. Landscaper, it's a little weird, but okay, whatever. She's a landscaper. Remember, Pike owns a construction company, okay? Remember this. Cole, remember, he's jobless, okay? He sucks, okay? So what happens, so next we got Cole. Cole is really irrelevant, which is why I didn't give him a headcanon face. Just picture any blonde white guy, and you got it. You got it. Any blonde white guy will fit the mold. That is Cole, okay? I already explained who Cole is. Pike, 38. He's never been married. He doesn't really have long-term relationships. He's sort of a man-child. Now, they kind of manipulate you in the novel into thinking that he's like a good guy. He's not. He's not a good guy, okay? So I need to make a note. I made a note here.
So once Pike realized she was his son's girlfriend, why was he still checking her out? Because this would have been an opportunity for him to be like, oh my gosh, because throughout the novel, he keeps describing his son like he's like a little baby and he's a child, and how much he loves his son and he wishes that their relationship would pair again, like that they could repair their relationship. But he doesn't see Jordan the same way. He keeps acting like she's a grown woman, and she is, legally. And she is more mature than her boyfriend, Cole, Pike's son. But, you know, is she really a woman? Question mark. Okay, next. Let's get through this quickly. Jordan's boyfriend cheats on her. Now, this is about halfway through the novel. All you need to know is the first half is just a bunch of tension. You know what I mean? She's cooking him pasta. She's watching movies with him when her boyfriend's not home. Another clarification. Her boyfriend is almost never home. He parties a lot. He sleeps a lot. Their work schedules don't match. So he's almost never around. And I just want to say, if her boyfriend had been like a golden retriever angel, none of this would have ever happened. This was only possible because her boyfriend sucked and he cheats on her. So basically, around halfway through the novel, boom, you can see his name. I'm not lying to you guys. His name is Pike. Okay. So basically, Cole, the random white kid, he cheats on Jordan, okay, with a girl from their high school, because I didn't clarify this. They live in a really tiny town. They live in a small town. When I say small, I mean small, okay? Everybody knows each other. This is another reason why Jordan dating her boyfriend's dad is going to be taboo, because everyone knows who they are, okay? So basically, Cole cheats on her. You know, she's angry, yada, yada, badada. He's like, okay, I'm going to move out of the house and move in with the girl I'm cheating on you with. They break up, right? Cole's like, okay, I'm going to move out. You can just stay here with my dad until you get on your feet. Whoa. So this is just given her and the dad an opportunity to get together, because now the boyfriend is out of the picture. So is it still wrong for them to do this? Yes, 100%. But the boyfriend isn't even around to catch them. You would think. But he does catch them, and we haven't gotten to that yet. So basically what happens after they break up is Jordan hooks up with Daddy, aka Pike. That's his nickname. Okay? So they hook up. Now, this is a whole thing. There's this scene. It's a little bit cute, but like in hindsight, none of this is cute. It's giving wee-woo, wee-woo, wee-woo. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop. That's what it's giving, right? So basically, they go mudding. Now, I'm not from the Midwest. I think this book is set in either the East Coast or the Midwest, but they go mudding. I don't know what that is. I guess they get in like some type of dirt bike, or they're just in his truck right now, and I guess they just slide through the mud. No, okay, that sounded really, really messed up. That sounded wrong. That sounded wrong. That sounded wrong. Let me say
it again. They're in his truck, right? And it's pouring down rain. And also, I didn't say this, but she helps him. One day she comes with him to work, and she helps him at his construction site. You know what? A lot of things are happening, right? So they're mudding. They're driving through the mud. They get all this mud on themselves. They go back to the house. Guess what happens? They're like, okay, well, we need to rinse off before we go into the house. We don't want to track mud in the house, right? She has the genius idea of hosing themselves off. You know what happens when people get wet in these types of things? All mayhem breaks. I didn't say that right. Everything breaks loose. Everything goes to shit, okay? So basically, they're doing the hose. They're getting freaky, okay? They start getting freaky. Guess who comes back to the house? You guessed right. Cole, the little boy that she was dating, okay? So Cole comes back. He goes, Dad, where are you? Father, okay? And he goes, right? Because he's just like freaking the girl, right? So then she's like, oh my gosh. Okay, her clothes are already off. She runs to the side of the house. They're in the backyard, by the way. She runs to the side. Pike goes, yes, son, you can come hither. And his son comes out. And he's like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just rinsing myself off. What are you talking about? Right? It's a whole thing. Now, let me also say another thing. Before they broke up, Jordan and Cole, before they broke up and before she cracked the dad, he bought her this pink birthday cake. Because remember, her birthday was in the very beginning of the novel, before she even moved into the house. Her birthday was the night that she was at the movie theater. You have to remember this, right? Later on, like months later, after she's been living with him for like, I want to say like a month. Okay, not months later, but you get the point. He buys her this birthday cake that's pink. And he says in the novel, he says in the book, how it looks like something you would get for a little girl. No words. Anyways, I just had to say that. So basically, what was that? I don't know what that was. I don't drive. Okay, so I just want to clarify. We are now a little bit over halfway. They are freaking, they are cracking. Okay, so she's cracking the dad.
So next what happens is Jordan starts secretly dating Jeffrey Dean Morgan, aka Pike. Okay, so now they're dating. Okay, now are they dating, or are they really just like, they're just hooking up and they're freaking and they're having a little bit of they're having, they're not really dating, they're having an affair. Okay, cue scandal. They're having an affair. And the only, certain people find out, right? Now, obviously the biggest tension, like the biggest conflict point of the novel would be the son finding out, right? That's who they don't want to find out. So they don't want to tell him. Jordan has, you know that saying where it's like everything's good until a little bitch in your ear is telling you that it's wrong. The bitch in Jordan's ear is her sister, her older sister Cam, who has a baby, by the way. This woman is an aunt. So her older sister Cam, the stripper, she's like, have your fun, but like, don't expect too much out of this. Like, he's just for fun. I don't even know why she's telling her little sister to have fun with this nearly 40-year-old man. That's bad sister on the part. I don't even know what to say about that, okay? So she has people encouraging her in this disgusting behavior. Pike doesn't tell anyone except his best friend, one of the construction workers, who I headcanon as Johnny from Cobra Kai, okay? I just imagined him, right? William Zabka. He tells him, he's like, yo, Pike, what are you doing, man? Yo, Pike'll, what are you doing, man? It's getting a little bit woo territory. It's getting a little bit jail time, right? So, okay, so we're like, okay, by the way, this book is 420 pages. 420 pages. I don't even know why the novel is this long. It could have been 200 pages and that would have been more than enough, but whatever. Okay, so what happens next is after they're secretly having the affair, Jordan gets outed by her crazy ex at a party and Cole leaves. Jordan also leaves the house and she goes to the middle of nowhere. So let me explain this entire plot point. So basically what happens is
Cole moves back in. Oh my gosh, so much. Okay, basically what happens is Cole moves back into his dad's house. And mind you, Jordan has been staying in Pike's room this entire time. She had her own room, but she has been staying in Pike's room, sleeping in his bed, freaking and cracking all over the place, okay? So when Pike gets wind that his son wants to move back in, he's like, oh, shikes, right? So he moves Jordan into the guest bedroom, right? But Cole, his son, comes with strings attached. His mom also wants to move in for a short period of time because for some reason, okay, basically what happens is Cole, remember the girl that he cheated on Jordan with? That doesn't work out, obviously, because he wasn't really cheating on Jordan because he was in love with another girl. He was just, a little bit discombobulated, right? Maybe he sort of had an aura that his girlfriend was trying to secretly want to crack his dad. I don't know, right? So basically what happens is Cole moves in with his mom. Remember, his mom is Jennifer Morrison. Now, I don't even want to get into all of the lore of the mom, the relationship between the mom and Pike, because that's just too much. But basically, the mom thinks that he sucks. Pike thinks that the mom sucks. It's like, okay, who cares, right? So basically, right, Cole is like, yo, Dad, can me and Mom stay at your house? He's like, okay, fine. He's totally chill with his son staying in his house because he does love his son, allegedly, right? Because, do you really love your son if you're cracking his ex-girlfriend? I don't know about that. But basically, he lets him move in for the time being, right? So the mom is like, hey, Pike, I could just stay in your room because, we have a whole kid together. And he's like, no. And then you see in his inner monologue, he's like, the idea of sleeping in the same bed as this woman instead of my sweet little baby girl 19-year-old. And he's tweaking out internally, right? And so basically Jordan, the mom is like, why can't Jordan just stay in Cole's room? They used to date. Who cares? And I can take the guest bedroom because I'm not sleeping on the couch because I'm Jennifer Morrison. And then Pike is tweaking. He wants to beat this bitch up. He wants to beat everyone up. He's like, oh my gosh, he's can't even believe his ears. But it's okay. So basically, then what happens is Jordan basically threatens Pike. She kind of is at her wit's end, right? She threatens him and she's like, you need to tell your son right now about what is happening because I'm sick of being your little secret, okay? Really, she just wants to crack him more, without having to hide it, right? And he's like, I can't do that. I can't do that to my son, right? So what happens the next day is Cole,
he has a big little party, okay? And not a Diddy party, but it gets close, right? So he has a big party, and what happens is all these people end up showing up, including, remember from the beginning, from the movie theater, Jordan's crazy ex-boyfriend. When I say crazy, I mean he used to lay into her, okay? This man was abusive, okay? So we don't like him. So he shows up at the party, he catches, now everyone's in the backyard and the front yard, everyone's outside, right? He catches Jordan and the dad mid-freak. Now they're not actually cracking in the house, next to the front door. They're sort of just they're making out, okay? This guy catches them after he just tried to assault Jordan, okay? He does this multiple times throughout the novel. And guess what happens? Pike is at his wit's end too, because he already hates this guy. He already knows all the lore, what he used to do to her in high school. He starts tweaking. Bro starts beating this man in front of everyone. Now they're outside of the house. Everyone's saying he's punching him. Cole comes out from the backyard around. He's like, Dad, what are you doing? Dad, what is happening? And he's like, do I need to beat this guy up too, right? Then the guy, remember, Jordan's crazy ex-boyfriend goes, you're letting your dad crack your ex-girlfriend? What the flip kind of guy are you? Cole goes, Hauga. He goes, he starts having a panic attack. I'm joking. He actually just gets really mad and he storms off, okay? Jordan also leaves because what is she supposed to do now, right? So now Pike is alone with all these people at his house, etc., etc. So what happens next is Jordan goes into hiding, okay? This is towards the end of the novel. I'm like, okay, wrap it up here because I'm kind of sick of this, right? Let's wrap it up, right? Jordan goes to an even smaller town, middle of nowhere, to where her old friend owns this hotel, right? It's her family's hotel. Her friend for a long time has been yo, Jordan, stop working at this bar, work at my family's hotel. Finally, Jordan is okay. So to get away from Pike, right, she works at the hotel. So Pike and Jordan don't see each other for 2 months. They don't speak, they don't call, they don't text, they don't nothing, right? Crazy other stuff happens. Cole joins the Navy. Where did this come from? I think he just was, his dad drove him so insane, he decided to join the Navy. Okay, so he joins the Navy. It's like, okay, so it's really difficult for Pike to speak to his son because he's in the Navy training, which lasts a long time, and you aren't allowed to, like, call or text anyone, but he does manage to get a few letters to him. So he's trying to mend his broken relationship with his son, which, by the way, was broken when we came in the house, okay? Don't think that, like, the reason why Pike and Cole don't get along is because of Jordan. They already had issues from his childhood, okay? So basically, let me just wrap up the ending so that I can get to the funny stuff. So what happens is Pike toils and he suffers for 2 months, around 2 months, I don't really remember. Cole goes to the Navy, Jordan works the hotel. We already know this, right? Pike and his son have a heart-to-heart in the house after he gets back from his training and he's graduated and he is now a Navy SEAL. Okay, he graduated from his training. And they have a little heart-to-heart. Cole's kind of like, well, do you love her? Pike kind of doesn't say anything that says enough for Cole. Cole kind of just accepts it. He's like, okay, man, whatever. You know? And he's like, but I don't really believe you when you say that you and Jordan are done because no one can be done with Jordan because Jordan's the greatest ever for some reason, right? Because she's built like a box. She's actually built like an anime girl, but we're not going to talk about a lot. Okay. So basically, Jordan and Pike... So basically, after they have the heart-to-heart, it's like this super-duper cringe. This is what I mean when I say, like, Avengers, Doomsday type shit. So, I feel like, okay, whatever. So, basically what happens is, it's like this cringy sort of Hallmark ending where Pike travels. He drives 12 hours to the small town that Jordan is now living in. He drives all the way to the hotel, and he's like... mi amor. And he's like, you know, has his little speech. He's like, oh, I love you, yada, yada, but dada, we don't care, right? He kisses the 19-year-old. Oh, my God, right? But he's done worse. We're going to get into that. Basically, what happens is they I don't know, happily ever after, okay? Happily ever after. And then there's a little epilogue. Now, the epilogue is where everything falls apart for me.
Because the story was already bad, but now it's just gotten into dark territory, okay? So Jordan and Pike have 3 kids, ? So we already know that they have either 1 or 2 kids. It was very unclear. In the epilogue, they're taking care of Cole's kid, which I'm going to get into that. And then they get married after 18 months from the ending of the book. And mind you, I think she's only known this man maybe 6 months. I just want to say that. So she knows the man 6 months. They date for 18 more months, and then he proposes to her. I'm going to get into that also. They get married. The epilogue takes place 9 years later. So now she's like 28. And then she gets proposed to in the mud. So let me explain that too. And I'm going to be doing everything that's wrong with this book. So that was the synopsis, okay?
Okay, fam. So we switched to iPad because I'm really terrified that my phone's going to run out of storage. So basically, let me explain everything wrong with this book. Okay. So the first thing, I feel like this angle is horrifying. I'm sorry. Is that better? I think that's better. Okay, so basically what happens, the first thing that's wrong with this book, the mic is just an illusion. I'm not even mic'd up right now. Okay, so the first thing that happens is there's a loofah goon sesh. Now, I can't really explain this because it's too disgusting, but it's exactly how it sounds. So I don't even know if I want to explain this on the internet. She does what I just said with Pike's loofah. And then she throws it away. And then later on in the novel, she's like, oh no, I forgot to replace his loofah. You might be wondering, why was she even taking a shower in his shower? Well, remember he's a construction worker? He's fixing up the whole house this whole time. I don't even want to get into it. It was an entire chapter and it was disturbing. Okay, so first of all that. Second of all, she's 19 and he's 38. Now, I would not have as much of an issue with this if he didn't, infantilize her so much. At one point, he threatens to spank her. I was like, okay, this is too much for me. This is too much for me. Also, it's just really the taboo-ness of her being his son's girlfriend. In the beginning, before they know this truth about each other, it's actually sort of cute. It's still cringe and poorly written, but it's all right. I can maybe accept it. And the only reason I even got through the novel is because of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, right? I was imagining Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I would let that man get away with anything. But if I had just imagined a regular schmegular 40-year-old man, I would not have been able to get past, maybe the second chapter. Anyways, so next thing on the list. Let me cross these out.
And let me put my glasses on too, just so that I can really understand what's happening. Ooh, I don't like that. Do you see that glare? So the Lufa-Goon sesh, the age gap. Next, Cole's. Now this is really what I took the most issue with in the whole book, is the logistics of the ending, of the epilogue, now that they all have kids. So let me explain
This to you. So Cole's son might or probably will find out one day that his grandma cracked his dad? Let's talk about that. So you might be wondering, why is Cole having a son in this epilogue? Well, after he was in the Navy for a long time, he met this random woman. She's irrelevant. He has a son. If his son realizes that his dad dated his grandma, you have to remember this. Cole's kid would be Pike's grandson. Oh my gosh, the garage is flickering. Are you guys seeing this? Shit. That is not good. That's scaring me. Almost as much as this book scared me. Okay, let's just finish this quickly then. So logistically, that's disturbing. I mean, would you want to know that your grandma cracked your dad? No! Okay, next. Okay, Jordan's stepson is now her ex-boyfriend? Think about that. If you marry your ex-boyfriend's dad, your ex-boyfriend is now your stepson. Disturbing. Okay. Next, Pike is mediocre and he has anger issues. Throughout the novel, he repeatedly grabs Jordan. He yells at her. I mean, I don't want to say he gets abusive because he really doesn't. It's just more like he's just being so aggressive and just very possessive, telling her what to do, telling her what's right for her. It's like, oh my gosh, back up. She just wants to do landscaping. Leave her alone. Okay, next. Jordan's entire personality is loving 80s music and her friend loves 90s music. Now this I took issue with because it was just getting cringe, and maybe I can handle the rest of the freaky stuff, but I cannot tolerate this level of cringe. It's just weak writing. So remember her friend from the hotel that owns the hotel? Her friend is obsessed with 90s music, and it's her whole personality. Now, when I say Jordan's whole personality is loving the 80s, every 5 minutes she's like, oh my god, Pike, you bought me some cassette tapes? And then she's talks to Johnny. Remember, Johnny is the headcanon of Pike's best friend from the construction site. She's like, wait, can I have your old boombox? What year are we living in, girl? Fuck, use Spotify and move on, okay? So I'm done with her. If Pike sees his son as a child, how does he not see Jordan the same way? I don't understand this. He keeps infantilizing his son, talking about how his son is his baby and he loves his son. It's okay, well, this girl is the same age as your son. Just because she's from the trailer park and she's been through more doesn't mean that you can negate the fact that she is a 19-year-old child. Okay, next. Pike can't use a microwave. This is something that's in the book. So he's trying to make popcorn and he doesn't know how to make popcorn in the microwave. And she has to teach him. Then he doesn't eat salads, ? In the book, Jordan tries to convince him to eat a salad. How old is this man again? And he also refused to eat onions in the very beginning of the book. Remember when I said that as soon as she got to that house, she was making them burgers to earn her keep? She puts onions on the burger and he starts complaining, talking about how he doesn't eat onions. Son? Okay. I'm sorry, I need water. I'm gonna need water. Wait.
I'm sorry. This book is so traumatizing. Okay, next. Jordan's taunting everyone with her taco dip. Now, this doesn't make any sense on the page. Basically, Jordan has this famous taco dip, and it gets repeatedly talked about throughout the novel. And at one point, they're at this, adult party. And when I say adult, I just mean that, it's all of Pike's middle-aged friends and no teenagers. And he's like, oh my gosh, you brought the taco dip, right? And then he starts eating the taco dip and her bacon-wrapped pigs in a blanket and everything before anyone else can eat them. Because apparently her taco dip is so glorious. It's just cringe. I don't want to hear about it, okay? I don't want to hear any of this. It's the same thing as when I have to hear about people using TikTok in a novel. Okay, next. I already talked about the pink birthday cake. That was weird. Jordan has no close friends, no family. This is just toxic. I mean, it just makes her more vulnerable to this old man. Now, there's a random character in the novel named April Lester. And it just reminded me of Mo Lester from Succession. I just wanted to add that in. Next thing, page 234. That's actually the last thing I want to say about the novel. So I'm just going to read this excerpt from page 234, and it will summarize... Oh, shit, I lost my Apple Pencil! Damn it! That is not good. Okay, whatever. So on page 234, this is going to be kind of just my last thing I want to say about this book. I just ripped it. It's fine. It kind of summarizes everything. Okay, let me read it to you. Give me a second. Okay. He reaches around, taking my face in his hand, and his hot breath is in my ear. First of all, gross. Second of all, don't threaten me with shit like that. If you want to act like a brat, then maybe you should get grounded like one. Huh? If you're wondering who said that quote, it was obviously our man Pikel. Who else would say something like that? Now, overall, just last words about this book. Oh, I lost the mic! Whatever. It's kind of like the placebo effect. You might think I'm mic'd up. Okay. Overall, last words about this book. The Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. Bonus material included, in case you couldn't get enough of it. Should you read this book? No. You shouldn't. You absolutely should not. Is it romantic? No. Is it spicy? Yes, but in a way that makes you want to throw up, okay? Is it written well? No. I should have read this little part at the top before I bought this book. It says, true love comes from the most forbidden places in this TikTok smash hit from New York Times bestselling author Penelope Douglas. Any book that you see that says TikTok smash hit, avoid it like the plague. Don't read it. And also, I should have said this earlier. Guess who does a little blurb on the back? Colleen, our girl Hoover. She says, as gripping as it was sexy. New York Times bestselling author Colleen Hoover. When I write my first book, I hope that Colleen reads it and tells me that it was as gripping as it was sexy, because that would just be the biggest compliment. I would just be truly honored.
Do you have burning questions running through your mind? Do you want to know the answers about the universe, time, love, or the trivialities of pop culture? Well, you've come to the right place. The Thought Bunny is an entity, a space, a girl. The Thought Bunny has an answer to all of your biggest questions. So ask away.